Every Thursday, we have John Paul Iwuoha. John Paul Iwuoha is a business activator who works with entrepreneurs to fix difficult problems at the startup and growth stages of business. For more than a decade, John Paul has helped dozens of entrepreneurs start new businesses, raise funds, grow sales, optimize business models, and solve human capital and growth problems. His clients are active in industries that range from agribusiness, tech to retail, healthcare, manufacturing, energy, finance, financial services, and other sectors. John Paul is an alumnus of PwC and qualified as a chartered certified accountant with ACCA. He is a frequent speaker and a trainer and judge who has worked with business networks and entrepreneurs focused organization, and he has featured in lots of networks, the CNN, the TRT world, and of course, Voice of the People. In 2018, he was recognized by LinkedIn as a top voice on startups and entrepreneurship. He's right here with me this morning. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. The pleasure is all mine. Now, today we are going to be looking at an interesting topic. When I say interesting, it's not a cliche. It's not. I'm not trying to whip up some sentiment or tell you what is not. No, this is for real. If your business is broke, you want to know how to fix it. This is the program you should listen to. Today we are talking about why businesses run out of money and how to avoid this problem. Especially now, many businesses are running on deficit. They're just there because if they close up, people will talk. So they're in debt. So we're going to be looking at the topic. So to start the conversation, let's know why business run out of money in the first place.
Okay, so I think it's important to state that running out of money is actually very, very common. In fact, when you hear that more than 60% of businesses crash within their first 3 years, a big part of the businesses that crash actually crash because they run out of money. And running out of money is not something very abstract. It's like you show up in the morning and then you see your suppliers from yesterday coming back. You still don't have money to pay them. It's the end of the month. Your employees are complaining. You haven't paid them. Some of them have stopped coming to work because they don't have money for transport anymore. And then the PHCN people show up. They say you have not paid, they cut your light. So it's like, sometimes it's like death from a 1,000 cuts. Sometimes it's just one thing that crashes you. Maybe you can't pay your suppliers anymore. You can't pay your staff anymore. Bottom line is you don't have money to run the business. It's like a body that doesn't have blood within it. So sometimes businesses just close. And unfortunately, a lot of that is happening now. You see a business open today, the next day, they don't open. Sometimes you may start to see some of the signs. One of the worrying signs will be, for example, if it's a retail business, you'll notice that the shelves are getting empty. Anything else they tell you they don't have. Sometimes to meet up, they have to increase the prices. And then gradually, sometimes you call, nobody picks customer care. Even if when they pick, they are sounding very angry as if you've done something to them. It's at that point where money can cause a lot of things. It can start to affect morale. It affects the culture of the organization. It affects the quality of the products that you produce or whatever it is. So it can affect the business in many different ways. But ultimately, sometimes the business cannot continue and then it dies. But there's something important you mentioned. For some people, they have to save face. Remember the woman who called the last time who said, she saw a lot trying to open that business. She doesn't want her husband to think she's a failure. Yeah. So the business is still open. So what happens is that people end up subsidizing a dying business. They keep getting money from outside. Either they are taking loans from friends and family. They are collecting money from outside just to, keep up with the Joneses, to show that I still have a business. Meanwhile, the business is already gone. So today's conversation is about helping people understand why this kind of thing happens in the first place, how you can avoid it, and if it's already happening to you, how you can prevent it. So if it has not happened to you before, it's likely going to happen. If it's not something from within the business, it might be an external factor. So for example, in the last 30 days, we've seen the cost of fuel almost triple. It's not your making. But what that has done now is that it has made life more difficult for you if you are running a business. Look at inflation. the cost of food, everything. These are external systemic factors that you don't have any control over, but will end up affecting whether your business runs out of money or not. So most times it's not always in your control, but your job as a business owner is to make things happen. A sailor cannot blame the ocean to say, I did my job, I'm a good sailor, but the ocean sank my ship. Nobody will listen to you.
Yeah, but
it's rough seas that makes a good sailor. So that's it. It's not a good ship. It's not a good ship that makes a good sailor. Every ship is good when the water is calm, but it's when the water is rough that we know who a good sailor is. So the objective of this program is to help our listeners become good sailors, because blaming the economy is not enough. That's not an excuse. It's supposed to be rough. That's why you're in this game. So it's the rough seas that make a sailor, not the boats, not your kind of business.
So you're saying that the Nigerian's economy will separate the boys from the men.
That's essentially what is going. There will be casualties, unfortunately, but not all those casualties have to be casualties. There are some things you can do to increase your own chances of survival.
Okay. Yeah. Let's get to what the things that you can do to increase your survival, because I've seen businesses, they'll come up and with all good intention, the shop is well fixed. People go there to buy things, and all of a sudden you go there, you ask for this, you don't have it anymore. The shop that used to be very filled up is not reducing, and then you see the person start doing POS business. This person that was into a provision or maybe consulting for something, you see the person doing POS going into other kind of business. So you wonder, is it that this person does not know how to do business? I had an opinion. When I see people like that, I'm like, you don't know how to do business, or you ate the money. You ate the money. You took money from your business and you could not put it back. That's why your business is failing. That's why it used to be my.
So that example segues nicely into the first reason I want to give. The format I want to follow is I give you a reason why something is happening, and then I show you how you can cover it.
Okay.
One of the biggest reasons why businesses run out of money is that they are not profitable. Now, this may sound very obvious, but in my line of work, it will shock you how many people have been in business for a long time, but they cannot tell you exactly how profitable their business is. Now, this is particularly applicable to businesses where it's cash-based. Because they see money coming in, they just feel, the business is making money. But there's a big difference between cash and profit. Any cash that comes into your hand is not entirely yours. Some of it will go to your landlord, some of it will go to your suppliers, some of it will go to your employees, stuff like that. So because you see money coming in, there's money, you feel you are profitable. But essentially you are bleeding. You are like a leaking bucket. It's only a matter of time before you find out, what's going on. And the problem with profits is that profit is what replenishes capital and allows you to grow and becomes like a self-sustaining engine. So one sign that you're not profitable is that you're always getting money from outside. Whenever it's time to buy goods, you just notice you don't have enough cash to go to the market. So you have to borrow from your husband, borrow from your wife, or borrow from the bank to make up money, right? If it's a healthy business, you should always have cash on hand, even though profit is not the only reason why you may not have cash to go to the market. But it is one sign that there's more money leaving the business than is coming into the business. Sometimes, like you said, it may just be the owner treating the business as his own or her own ATM, just putting their hand and taking out money. So whether the business is profitable or you are the one who is taking money out of it, as long as there is more money going out of the business than is coming in, you're going to run into trouble. So if in any particular situation I find out that the real problem is that this person is not taking money out of their business, they are running the business, they are doing their best, but they just find out that every time there's nothing remaining for them. They always have to keep taking from outside to replenish. There are now two areas we will look at. Okay. It's either you review your costs, because in this economy particularly, that could be a culprit. You may have been running your business for a long time, you've been making profits, but all of a sudden now you're looking for your money. And maybe because you are not, and I have this mantra, anything you don't measure, you cannot monitor. So if, for example, they ask you, oh, guys, time to buy diesel, you just open the till, you give them money. What's going to be happening now is that you'll be noticing shortages. And that's because you're spending more on things like transportation, on things like fuel, stuff like that. So if you're not monitoring, if you're not measuring these things, you really cannot have a handle on it. Another thing could be that your prices are outdated, because now that the costs have come up, It might not be that your profit margin is not enough any longer to cover the kind of business that you're doing. Maybe this is a good time to either review your prices or review the offerings that you are offering to the market. It depends on the kind of business that you're in. Some businesses, it may not be very easy to upwardly adjust prices. So you may need to play with offers. How can you push more volume? How can you get people to buy more, increase the frequency of purchases and stuff like that? So in summary, for this point, if there is more money leaving the business than is coming in, it may not be apparent to you if you're in a cash business, because every time you open your till, you see money, but you are gradually bleeding. And by the time you figure out what is going on, it may become too late. By too late, I mean the amount of money you need to get the business back on its feet may be so huge that the banks may be reluctant to give you that money, or your friends may be reluctant to give you that kind of money.
So it means you have to keep your records.
Yes.
Know how much comes in and how much goes out.
And know when you start bleeding.
And
yes.
you know when you start bleeding.
Yes.
You have to do that. No, many small business don't really have books. They don't keep their books. So you just I'm spending the money for the essentials. They take the money, they spend it for the essential. I monitor how the product is being used. For example, they want to buy diesel. I give you the money to buy the diesel. Maybe you buy like 20 liters and you use it for the business. Well, I need to monitor if it's 20 liters, you're using if it's 40 liters, because when you buy the diesel, I see it. I know that, okay, you bought 20 liters or you bought 40 liters and you use it for the business. Do I need to monitor, okay, we use 20 liters or 40 liters, or I give you the money as the need arises?
Okay, so
that's how many people run business.
Yes.
They monitor and I give you money as the need arises, but not that I have to account for every penny in the business.
There are different levels to it, but it may be strange for a small business to just start, and start like for a big company, very structured company. The way it runs, the true picture is, for big companies, before they spend, they know how much they should spend. And that's because those companies are already budgeting. Budgeting is like the advanced level of what we're talking about now. If you're not even taking records, you can't even talk about budgeting. But when you budget, all of a sudden, you start to notice what they call variances. Why is it that we budgeted 500K and we spent 750K on diesel? So the question now becomes, what changed? Is it that we used more diesel than we normally use, which is the volume of the diesel, or is it that the price of the diesel has changed? So at that level, they know what they are looking for because they already have expectations for spending. Many small businesses don't even have expectations for spending. They are just spending as they go. And the danger in that is that you don't know when you overspend, because the guy asked for money, he bought the diesel, you use the diesel. But do you know how much more diesel you are using? Could it be that, for example, the engine, your generator, is no longer as efficient as it should be, so you are burning more diesel than you should be burning? Is it possible, for example, that you are using diesel at times when it may not be necessary because PHCN has started disappointing? So if you have insight into that data, you may realize that, why exactly are we burning more diesel? The ACs are always on. Okay, what do we need ACs on for before the sun is out? So we can open the business and run on maybe inverter or something else before 12 o'clock, where the weather is still cool and we really don't need ACs. Or we can prioritize the freezers and you see what's going on here? Yes. The information is feeding your decision making, and that decision making is helping you cut costs. But this is the insight many small businesses don't have, because they are not monitoring the spending. Monitoring the spending is not just about making sure that nobody is stealing the money for diesel or the money for anything from you. The information comes as feedback and helps you reposition yourself. So some of these big companies already know that they will not be able to pay salaries in 6 months' time. They already know now that in 6 months' time, they will not have money. Many small businesses don't have that kind of visibility. And so that's why first of all, you start recording. When you start recording your information, you start building a track record of the performance of your business, and every information tells you a story. You then start to see that your business is telling you a story, and then you can anticipate and prepare for the future. That's where things like budgeting come in, and then you can make some smart decisions around. So for many businesses, interestingly, they have a different kind of problem. It's not that they are not making money, but they are not keeping money. You see, and those are two very separate skill sets. So people are really good at making money, but they don't know how to pin down money. And pinning down money comes with knowing how to be good at cost management. If you cannot pin down your costs, the profits will go with the cost. And at the end of the day, everybody has taken their money. The landlord has taken his money. Your suppliers are taking their money. Your employees are taking their money. In fact, the tax man has taken his money. The only person who is left with an empty bag is the owner of the business. And why this is happening is that money came into your business and all of it left. And in fact, you may still be owing, but you can't pin down any money. So, yeah.
I know somebody called me some time ago, I think on this program on Monday, said it's a spiritual problem and he has gone to see the pastor. That I'm serious. They called. I remember if you've been following, I know you listened. You heard someone called and said, "Okay, I'm into this business. I put money into it, lots of money, and I don't see money at the end of this. So I've gone to meet the pastor. The pastor told me that there's a lady that I dated some time ago, and it opened up my purse spiritually and is taking money. So there is that belief there." And another, that's just by the side. And there is another question I want to ask. When can I start taking money from my business? I'm a business owner. When can I dip my hand into my business and start taking care of my needs?
Very, very, very good question. In fact, I'm very tempted to address the first one that you mentioned. I don't blame people who think it's a spiritual problem because the way it happens for people who own a business, there are people who make sacrifices, devote their time, effort. They are diligent in running the business. But to their greatest shock and dismay, there's nothing remaining for them at the end. So it's so shocking that because you don't have anything to hold on to, you have to start thinking in supernatural terms. It doesn't make any sense that I made all these sacrifices. I put my life and my effort into this, and I'm not seeing anything.
The money came, at least you saw.
You saw money coming, and all of it's left, and you didn't. So I don't blame people who think it's supernatural. But the truth is, I've been across the entire spectrum, from small one-man business to like big corporates. I can tell you firsthand, it has nothing supernatural to do about it. Very simple. It's just about understanding the data, the information. Your business is telling you something every day you open it. But all that information, you are not seeing it because you are not putting your eyes on it, right? We'll dive into that one. The answer to your second question is, we cannot know whether it's time to take money out of the business if we don't know how much the business is making. So if, for example, if I don't know that my business is making 100K in profit every month, on what basis will I say I want to start taking money to pay children's school fees or rent? There's no basis for it. Apart from I know that I have needs that are pressing me. I'm running this business. I need money to take care of myself and my needs. I understand that. But there's no justification data-wise that says that you cannot take 20K or 100K. The only thing that would justify it is that we have records. This is how much money came in through sales. This is how much money we spent. And based on the performance of the business, we've made 500K in profit. Guess what? That money is for you. You've paid everybody. That one remaining. It's now up to you to decide, do I keep this 500K and reinvest it in the business? Or am I at a point now where I'm comfortable enough and let me start paying myself a salary? So the only person that can make that decision is the business. And for the business to make the decision, you have to listen to what the business is telling you. The business talks in terms of data. But because we're not capturing that data, we don't know what the business is saying. So if the business is saying we're at a loss of 200K and you are not listening to the data, the only thing you are listening to are your problems. If you put your hand into that business, you now go from minus 200K to maybe like minus 1 million. So you're just accelerating the death of that business.
So your business is talking.
Your business is talking, so but you need to know.
You go to your business. Your business is speaking.
Your business is speaking to you, and businesses are noisemakers because there's a lot of activity. Your employees are doing something. Your businesses are very noisy. They make a lot of, a lot of noise. They produce a lot of information. But because we don't understand the language, we think it's not saying anything. We think it's just there waiting for us to put our hand down. So businesses actually yield a lot of. If you go to a business that is structured to harvest information, you'll be shocked. That's where industries like big data are coming from. That's why artificial intelligence is very, very valuable, because the kind of information that businesses are producing, human beings can no longer keep pace. So we now need machines to read all this big data, make sense of it so that our directors can make decisions. So businesses are very noisy when it comes to information, but you need to know how to sieve through, to listen to what it's telling you.
Some business owners think that it's about money. You need to throw money into the business. Anytime they start having issues with the business, they think it's time to throw money, that I just need money. Once I put in money now, I know where I will be. So they think every problem in their business is money.
I
just need money to put.
You've just said it excellently. If you listen to anybody who says if you ask them what's the main problem they have in their business, they will tell you they want to raise money. But guess what? When you ask them what's the money for, most of them will tell you, I need to expand my business. I need to expand it. Expand it. You now start asking, guess what? If you're not making profits in one location, what makes you think that by expanding that problem, all of a sudden the problem will get solved? You have a small wound. You haven't treated it. And you don't want to expand it. I think you will accelerate your own collapse. So the truth is that particularly when you are dealing with investors, the professional ones, they're interested in something called unit economics. And the theory is that if you are not making profits with 100 units of your product, why should we pour in more money for you to produce 1 million? Let's see. And this principle goes on. Even in the Bible, they'll tell you that if you cannot entrust you with little things, why should we then, So that's the important part. There's nothing, you can't be thinking of expansion without thinking of profitability first. The only people who can think in terms of expansion is when you have a bottomless pit of money chasing you, like you have in Western venture capital, where a company like Uber, for example, will go for 6-7 years, they are not making profits. Amazon will go for almost a decade, not making profits, and investors will keep pumping money into them, right? That's because they are looking for market share. They want global market share. They want to dominate the market first before they start looking for efficiencies to make profits. But Africa is not like that. Africa, if you are not very close to profits, you will crash. So your priority should be profits. If you can prove that what you're doing is profitable, then after that, you can start thinking of expansion. Because why do you want to expand the problem? It doesn't make any sense. You only expand something that has proven itself.
I had this heated debate with a CEO of a company. He told me that Mary, because I was telling him that for you to start making profit in a business or taking money from your business at all, or even say your business is profitable, you need to have been in business for 5 years. Some say 2 years. He said, no, in Nigeria, if you are in business, you have to start making profit, from day one. If not, you will not survive in Nigeria. That's one question. Another one is some people have the mindset that there are people that know how to manage business, that they know how to manage money. And there's a particular tribe, they said these people, they are very good with business. They know how to do business and manage business, manage money and all of that. Are CEOs born and entrepreneurs, are they born? Are there people that are good in business and there are people that are not good with business? Even if they are not good. Like one man told me that the wife, he knows the wife is not good in business. That he has invested money, opened something for her big, she will trade it to the ground. Then tried another thing, said she put money, that she's not good. So now she's going to school to go and get more degrees and maybe teach somewhere. So she's not.
So there's a cultural side and a personal side to being, if what you're talking about is frugality, I tend to see business in terms of two extremes. When you start a business, the major skill set you need is a marketer, a seller. Somebody that can convince people to bring out their money and buy, right? But as that business continues, a new problem comes up. All that money is coming from customers. You have not figured out sales. Sales is not a problem. You're making sales. But all the money comes into the business and leaves the business. We're not making profits. So a different skill is required. You need somebody that can pin down money, somebody that is frugal, somebody that knows how to manage costs. Now, when it comes to marketing and say, what I found is Nigerians, by our style, by our flair, right? We tend to do very well when it comes to, marketing, selling. Everybody go to Instagram. You see that Nigerians are very good when it comes to, and we stand out from our African peers. Nigerians, sometimes they allege we are flamboyant. Sometimes they say we are bombastic, that we talk, But the average Nigerian person, particularly if you are like in a cosmopolitan place like Lagos, there's that confidence that, you can do it, you can sell.
We sabi talk.
Yeah, we sabi talk. Yeah. Where we tend to fall short is when it comes to particularly cost management. And I've thought a lot about this, and this is my conclusion. You need to have a culture of delayed gratification to be able to manage costs. We live in a culture of, if you have it, flaunt it. If you have it, show it. Even if you don't have it, go and borrow and show it. So what that does is it puts pressure on people who have businesses to show results that they are doing well. Everybody is asking you for evidence of doing well. Your parents, your siblings, your friends, your classmates. So you want to show that you're doing well. So you end up buying that car, that SUV, before the business can afford it. Sometimes it's even on a loan. You relocate to that part of town and get that house before the business is ready to carry that load. And why are you doing all these things? You want to show people that, yeah.
Okay, hold the thoughts. I've been prompted. We need to go pay some bills. When we return, we'll talk some more and open the phone lines. This is Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. You're listening to Business Around Town.
The award-winning pizza in the US is now here in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Romeo, the pizza champions, and Coldberry ice cream, delights in every scoop. Visit any of our outlets and feel the rich taste from the pizza champions and Coldberry ice cream at 11 Road by First Avenue, Festac Town, 28 at Denira Ogusanya Street, Surulere, 13 Admiralty Way, Lekki Phase 1. Romeo's Pizza and Coldberry ice cream. Romeo, the pizza champions. Are you aware that Iruka Online Limited installed and designed a 100,000 capacity church building? Oh yeah, we are the sole distributors of global leading brands all over the world, such as Wafday Line Array, speakers and digital amplifiers, Preseno's digital mixers and studio equipment, Coswell workstations and keyboards, Fender guitars, Mapex drums, Ashdown bass combos, just to mention but a few. We offer flexible payment plan handled by our financial department with 24/7 customer care support system. You can visit our website on www.iruka.com to avoid buying fake products. You can also visit our showroom at number 36 Lagos International Airport Road beside Golden Tulip Hotel. Iruka, never settle for less.
We have been serving you hot and fresh content on radio, and you have been loving it. Now we're taking it further. Catch us live on YouTube at BOP TV for all the juicy content you can't resist. Talk shows, exclusive interviews, news, lifestyle, and more. It's all about you. BOP TV, show up, speak up.
Are you looking for the perfect getaway?
Look no further than the luxurious accommodations at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, number 42, Muritala Muhammad International Airport Road, Lagos.
Relax and unwind in a beautifully appointed rooms featuring all the amenities you need for a comfortable stay.
Whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, our attentive staff is here to ensure that your everyday need is met. We also offer complimentary pick-up and drop-off from the Lagos Airport.
Take advantage of our state-of-the-art fitness center, outdoor pool, and enjoy a delicious meal at our on-site restaurant.
With stunning views, world-class service, and a prime location, Airport Golden Tulip Hotel is the perfect choice for your next vacation or business trip.
So, why wait? Book your stay today and experience ultimate in comfort and luxury at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel.
For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-8003-333 or 0815-7003-333. You can visit our website at airportgoldentuliphotel.com.
Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, where luxury meets comfort.
There are about three major ways to get out of debt if your business owes a lot of money. You can restructure the loan, you can refinance the loan, or you can sell assets to liquidate the loan. So when it comes to restructuring a loan, you can negotiate the interest rate or the outstanding balance or the timing of the repayments. So negotiating any of these three things can buy you more time and reduce the pressure on you and your business. My name is John Paul Iwuoha. Join me on VOP 90.3 FM every Thursday at 9:30 a.m. to get more insights and strategies that will help you build a successful business.
This is Voice of the People 90.3 FM. The show is Business Around Town. We have been speaking with John Paul Iwuoha. He's a business activator, and the topic is why businesses run out of money and how to avoid this problem. If your business is broke, let's help you fix it. I hope you have your questions ready because I'm going to be opening the phone lines very soon so that you could ask your question. concerning any area of your business, and the coach will answer your questions. Now, before we went on that break, you were talking about cutting costs in business. You were
Yes.
saying that, talking about the character of some people, the traits of some people, if entrepreneurs are born or they are made. So you were addressing that.
Yeah, I said that there's a cultural side and there's a personality side to managing costs.
Okay.
As Nigerians, I find that on the average, of course, I'm not speaking for every Nigerian because we have all kinds of people in our population, but on the average, making the sale part is not it's not usually the problem. And we are now blessed to be in a generation where the tools for enhancing sales are now available. Things like social media have made it easier to sell. But the skill that is still lacking, which is one of the reasons why many businesses run out of money, is cost management. So you have a situation where money is coming into your business, but at the end of the day, you notice that there's nothing left for you. So the business, there's more money leaving the business most of the time. Yeah. So in terms of personality, it requires you to resist the temptation for instant gratification. We live in a culture where everybody wants to show it, whether they have it or they don't have it. And the truth is that all that pressure, that social pressure, the peer pressure, also tells on entrepreneurs. You have to show working. You have to show that you're doing well. So you end up buying things that your business is not ready to carry. So you are buying the car, you are buying the this, you are buying the that. There's nothing frugal or modest anymore, like in our society. Modesty and delayed gratification is seen as, if I may borrow the mumuism, like a mumu, if you wait. Yeah. You know, why wait when you can eat it now? And a business is like a human being. They have to crawl before they can run. So by the time you start putting all that burden on that small business, it will cry for help. And of course, I know you may not be listening to those signs. So you end up finding that a business that had potential, that would have done well, if you were patient, if you managed your costs better, if you delayed some things until later, if you ended up buying things for yourself from profit and not as a cost and a burden to the business may have had a better chance of survival. And I was telling you during the break now that we are starting to see that in many of our big companies in Nigeria, a certain nationality is prevalent within Nigeria. Most CEOs hire these foreigners, and we think they are taking our jobs. But if you go and check, they are usually CFO, head of accounts, cost manager, cost control. When it comes to managing costs, it appears that these big companies, sometimes they don't really want to hire Nigerians. They believe that these foreign nationals are better at saying no, because managing costs really is about saying no and asking why. Why should we spend 1 million? We cannot spend this now. That's essentially what it is. So it looks like we have a hard time saying no. I promise that we'll talk about the second point. I have about 5 points on how to avoid running out of money before. Okay. The second one.
No. Before you go to the second one, let's open the phone line. So you can call in now. The numbers is 0700 903 903 903 0700 903 903 903, or sending a WhatsApp message 0700 903 903 9, or go to our YouTube. We're streaming live on YouTube now. Leave a comment there and then you get answers to your questions. So please call in now and ask your questions, not after the program. Do it now and you get free consultation. We have John Paul here to handle your business issues. Okay, now let's move to the second point: why business run out of money and how to avoid this problem.
This second point applies mainly to businesses that are relatively new and young. And the reason why they run out of capital is that they pay less attention to working capital and they push most of their money to fixed capital. So let me explain the difference between the two. When you're going to start a business, there's a question.
There's going to be calls. I knew when I opened the lines, we might not have a full conversation. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you. Welcome to the program. What's your name and location?
My name is Esther. I'm calling from Lagos.
Okay, great. Go ahead with your question.
Please, I said a business, a plantain chips business, but I find it so difficult to balance my profits. For example, now I get plantain of worth 15,000. Then once I'm done packaging it, I find it very, very difficult to, how will I put it now, weigh the particular an amount. I meant, for example, the 100 naira own.
Yes.
I find it difficult to, how do I explain it now, to get an accurate kg that will give me a profit, a reasonable profit. Until I pack everything, then when I pack all of them, I find out that I run in loss after packing because I follow the quantity other people measure. Like, for example, now, other people sell the plantain chips 100 naira. I buy it and measure it. Then I use the same measurement. Do you understand? So that it won't be like as if my plantain chips is kind of like smaller or bigger. So I will not, like how I will not just, I don't know how to explain it better. But, so when I finish doing like that, I always end up in loss. Even when I try reducing this thing and bargaining more, I still end up in loss. Seriously, and you know, this country now, the way things are, if I keep making that same mistake, it's just like me deceiving myself and throwing away money.
Okay, great. I think I get your question perfectly. Now, listen up so that if there's going to be more questions, you can send it to us on WhatsApp. Because we were going to ask you questions back and forth, so just be on your WhatsApp.
Okay, thank you very much.
So thank you very much for calling.
Okay, can I take this one now?
Yes, you can take this one.
Okay, so there's information she can see about her competitors, but there's information she cannot see about her competitors. Information she can see, she can buy plantain chips from other producers, she can weigh it, she can know the price her competitors are selling at.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know how much the competitors are buying the critical cost elements, the plantain itself, the raw plantain, and particularly the oil. Now, aside from these two, the next big cost element will be packaging and then the cost of the heat, whether she's using gas or firewood. All these elements come in as costs. Now, I was tempted to ask, where does she buy her plantain from? Some of these people go as far as the interior in Ondo State, Ogun State, and buy all these things in bulk. So that when they buy in bulk and they produce in bulk, the cost per unit is lower. So this clearly is a cost problem. And if she's not making a profit, it's not likely coming from because she's selling it for 100 naira. She cannot sell for 150. She will not be competitive. This is a cost problem. It's either she's buying at cost levels that are higher than her competitors, and the business is not making sense at a small scale. But if she buys in large quantities and economies of scale kick in, then she can start seeing a profit. This is largely a business that makes profit from volume, not from margin. So if your volumes are low, your profits will suffer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the business is a profitable business. So she does not have to leave this business. There are people ready to buy.
There are people, there are people ready to. So it's a matter of just playing with costs because the market psychology is already locked at 100 naira for a pack. Anything above, she will not be competitive. So there are various things. What kind of oil will she use to fry? These people, every business has its own secrets. If you don't enter, you will not know how people are cutting costs. Some people will tell you, don't waste your time buying from Mile 12 markets. I buy my own from Akwa Ibom or I buy from Benue State. You'll be like, are you serious? For this business, you got the way to Benue State. She'll tell you, that's the only way I can make a profit. So you might be surprised the lengths people go to cut costs or the kind of oil the person uses. So these are different things that she will need to consider.
Okay, thank you so much. I hope you've gotten clarity, or you could also send another message if you want to follow up. 0700 903 903 903 is the number to call in and ask your question. Now, you were talking about the number 2.
Yeah, the number 2. I said startup businesses make a mistake. Yeah.
No,
I have another one.
We'll be interrupting now because
let's go ahead with the.
Okay. Hello. Good morning to you.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning to you. What's your name and location? Hello.
Volumes. No?
Yeah, can you speak up a bit so that we can hear you?
I said my name is Onyeka. I'm calling from Lagos.
Okay, Onyeka, go ahead. Ask your question.
I'm into farming now.
Okay.
But, like all these S3 chocolate, they don't used to go market. I do training season now. So I'm losing my gain. I'm not even gaining.
Okay. If I'm to get you correctly, you said you are into farming, right? Hello, are you there? I need to get what you're saying. You said you are into farming?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what type of products do you sell?
Like chocolate, ewedu, green,
Okay.
leaf, water leaf, ugu.
Okay, and now people are not buying. Is that what you're saying? People are not buying now?
People are buying, but I don't need to get gain like before.
Why don't you get gain like before? People, they are not buying more, or what do you think the problem is?
I get what you're saying.
I don't know how to explain this. Just that people don't used to come like before, or even though if they come, like small money.
Okay. Listen up. I think you get answers to your question now. Okay. Thank you so much for calling. Just listen. Be close to your radio. Thank you. Okay. You say you understand.
Yeah. So, and unfortunately, these are the kinds of businesses that are suffering the most in this economy. Businesses where you cannot raise your price. You can't raise the price of shoko or ugu or vegetables. People already have an expectation for what the price is. So you're in this deadly situation where your price is locked, but your costs have risen. Transport cost has risen, fuel costs have risen. So you're not playing a delicate balance of you cannot raise your price and you cannot cut costs. So this will squeeze out a lot of people from the market. And you only have two options. You have to look for ways to cut that cost, because guess what? Consumers don't want to hear stories. They don't want to hear that what they used to buy for 500 is now 1,000. No matter the reason you give them, they will not care, except you're a monopoly like you would have on the road transport in Lagos and all those other ones. One option is, do you leave that category? Like the plantain person now, there are plantain products that they sell in supermarkets that is not priced like the street one.
Yes, one small packet like 500.
Those ones are bigger price, and they are selling based on quality. We don't use anyhow oil to sell it, the flavor. Sometimes they put flavors like maybe coriander flavor. You can play into the premium part. The moment you penetrate the premium part of the market, you cannot play with price, because those kind of customers are not sensitive to price. They would rather pay more for quality and premium than just compete based on price. If you cannot enter premium, you have to look for ways. This is like an assignment to businesses across Nigeria. We don't have an option. You have to find ways to cut that cost. One way is economies of scale. You buy in bulk, and then it reduces your unit costs. Or you can now start exploring other alternatives that can help you get the end result you're looking for. But with if I'll give you one example.
Yeah.
I'm noticing more akara sellers now in Lagos using gas to fry akara. And you might be asking why. You are now finding out that even though firewood may appear cheap, it is more expensive on a per unit level. If you compare it to gas, every day you are buying firewood, but you might buy gas that lasts you a week. So now they are now seeing that it makes sense to invest in a cylinder and a cooker and then carry that cost, because ultimately it gives me a lower unit cost compared to the person that thinks they are still smart by buying firewood, which ends up to be more expensive in the long run. So these are examples of ways of cutting costs that we need to explore.
Okay, let's take another call. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, what's your name and location?
I'm Mr. Gabriel. I'm calling from Oshodi.
Okay, welcome, Mr. Gabriel. Go ahead with your question, sir.
I'm happy about this question that man is talking now. Because I'm a businessman. Real businessman before. You understand?
Yeah.
You hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead. I'm following.
Okay. I'm a businessman before. I opened up a business 2015. I run it about 3 to 4 years. I was doing well. But suddenly the business just go down, collapse, garage. I didn't know. But from the business, I did a house. What are about 3 million plus. But since then, I'm not doing anything now. I'm just trying to pick up again. I don't know what to do.
Do you have questions for him? What kind of business?
What kind of business was it?
What kind of business were you
Electrical.
doing? Okay, electrical business. And your shop was where? What location then?
No study.
In Oshodi. And now you are still there, just that the business is not behaving like before. You're not selling like before.
Yes.
Okay, and you're still in business. You still have a shop in Oshodi now.
Yeah, I'm staying in the shop, but I'm not making use of it for now. I'm about
This shop, is it in the location it was when you were building that your house, when the business was doing well, or did you shift location within the Oshodi area?
No, it's in the same place.
The same place. What of your neighbors that were selling with you that time? Are they still around you now?
Huh?
Your neighbors that were selling. Other people were selling electricals just like you. You had neighbors that were selling electricals just like you, right?
Yes.
Are they still there now?
Yeah. They are still there.
Oh, and
But
is it a general thing that are all of them complaining that business has fallen, that things are bad?
them are complaining that the business, is not moving as before again. But I'm the only one that is still affect more.
You are the only one that it affected more.
Yes.
Okay, so what exactly is the problem? Is it that do you have stock? Is it that you're looking for money to buy stock to sell?
Yeah, because after I finish the building, after I finish the building, I still have some dues. But suddenly, there's no nothing. Customers are no more coming. All those things. I don't know what to do. I just use West, close the shop, go and enter into transport. But I'm planning to go back now. That's why I'm planning to go back to start up the business again. I didn't know how to. I just want to start off now. To start on something again for the shop because I'm still paying the shop rent since then.
Okay, you're still paying the shop rent, yeah. The customers that used to buy from you then, did you have customers that were always coming? Or these are just people that just enter Oshodi and they're looking for somewhere to buy? What I'm asking is this. People that normally buy, I'm sure you have electricians that normally come to you to buy. There are engineers, building contractors that you used to sell to, correct?
Yes, I have many customers then, but suddenly all of them suddenly stop coming.
Were you calling them? I'm trying to understand what the route. When you call them and say, customer, I've not seen you in a while, what were they telling you?
Huh?
When you call those customers and ask them, okay, I've not seen you in a long time, what's happening? What do they tell you?
So they said that they didn't have chance to come outside again. They didn't have a chance to come outside again.
Okay.
You're sounding like it's a spiritual problem.
No.
This is type. Okay, we have a coach here. You know what you do for me? Just stay close to your radio. Let us break down this issue. And if you have more questions, send it to us on WhatsApp so we can have a follow-up. Thank you very much. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's sounding like...
He's sounding already defeated.
Yeah,
I don't blame you.
Yeah, it's
I don't blame you. But you see, the question,
break it down.
the questions I was trying to ask is this.
Yes.
We know that electricals are booming. Maybe the brands may change, but because of the construction boom that is going on in Lagos, there's building across the three axes. The Ajah-Ekpe axis, Ikorodu axis, and towards Badagry. We know people are building. We know people need electrical parts for those buildings. So demand is not particularly the problem. Electrical parts is one of those things that even though it's more expensive, like food, if you have a home to build, you must still buy the parts. So something has happened here. The people that normally buy from him are now buying from somebody else. And the reason I'm asking him, is it such that a bigger player has come into the market and has now cornered that part of it? Because Oshodi is so central, particularly even for electrical goods. I know there are times you want to buy something, they tell you it's only in Oshodi that they can find it. So clearly somebody else has taken their business.
What he said is the worst hit. From his
among all the
people that is the worst hit.
So although I wanted him to land on it, I don't know what impact building that house had on his business. I was resisting the urge to ask, but I wanted to see whether he would land there. Could it have been possible that all that money he took out of the business affected his ability to meet the demands of his customers, and they started leaving him one at a time? When they come, they say, I don't have this one, I don't have, and they were moving to other people. Could that be? So this is something where I know we're close to the answer, but this is something, if we had more time, yes.
Yeah, I think, we have time, because I know many people are facing this issue. He said something that the business, when after building the house, when he came back, there was still some stock.
Yes.
He said some stock that he thought he would sell to recuperate. So, but some stock does not mean all the stock he had before he took the 3 million plus that he used to build the house. So that might have dwindled the business.
Dwindled, yes.
Yes, maybe like you said, people will come and buy. You don't have.
They go to your neighbor, go to somewhere else, and the thing is, when you break the habit of a customer, you've caused trouble because you've created an opportunity for that customer to find another person that sells what you sell, and they may not come back. So that's why some people insist that customer does not leave their shop. They tell you, "Oh, guys, stay here. Let me get it from the store." What they are doing is they don't want to break the pattern. They don't want you to go somewhere else. If you go somewhere else, that might be the beginning of them losing that customer. So they ask you to sit down, take a bottle of Coke, and then they'll go and get it for you. But in your mind, anytime you think of that market, you have to think of their shop, not somebody else. So every time you say, I don't have it, I don't have it, I don't have it, you are losing customers and customers that may never come back. And then one day you wake up and find out you don't have.
So how can he fix this problem?
So what I'm guessing
so from his voice, you could see he went into transport.
Yes.
Now he's still paying his rent and he wants to go back.
Yeah.
But
it appears that business needs to be recapitalized. For him to be able to compete, he has to go back into the business and get back stock. Get stock to a level where some things that people don't have, he has it. And he's more aggressive in retaining customers. Because if he goes back to that market now, he's about to go and start taking customers from his neighbors. And he needs to be ready for that. But the first thing is, he has to recapitalize first. That business needs an infusion of money. He has to get a range of stock and then start rebuilding some of those relationships that he used to have in the past. But the question cannot be there are no customers. Lagos is building every single day. So the demand is there. The thing now is that the pipeline, the straw he had into the market is clogged or even broken. Is to now reinsert that straw and create a line back to his business so that the thing can kickstart. But I'm suspecting that building project was a distraction to his business. He took money out of the business.
Maybe he was not supposed to take
He was not supposed. And that's it still comes back to what we're talking about now. When is the best time to take money out of your business? The business will tell you. The business will tell you from its performance.
It's not because you're seeing money.
It's not because you're seeing money. So some of that money you would have taken now is working capital. The number 2 I wanted to talk about. That is the one that actually kills businesses. When you take money out of your business, what you're taking is working capital. What will shock you is that bankrupt businesses, sometimes, they have assets. You go into their premises, they have, when I was working in the oil and gas industry, and I worked on one brief for a company that went bankrupt. They had a massive facility in Port Harcourt. They had equipment. They had a badge. These things are like multi-million naira. And then they said the company is bankrupt. So for somebody who doesn't understand the way business works, you'll be confused. How can you have all this property and say you're bankrupt? What bankrupts a company is working capital. When you don't have cash to pay salaries and pay your suppliers, that's where you run into trouble. So startups make that mistake. When they want to start a business, they spend too much money on branding, too much money on website, too much money on packaging, office, a vehicle. You know, those things are fixed capital. They bury money in the ground. They tie and hold money. Working capital is either in the bank or in your till. That is the money that you need to make the business run. So most businesses that run out of money run out because they no longer have working capital. And next week, we'll go deeper into working capital and other reasons why a business can fail.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See, I'm having calls, but you know something about these calls. You know, every call we have to deal with it.
Yes.
So our time here is up. We have to go. But next week, Thursday, we'll come back again with this topic, the part 2 of the topic, and answer more of the questions that you have. So go to YouTube, leave your comments there, your questions, ask it. John Paul will go there and answer the questions that you have. And God willing, next week, Thursday, we'll be here. Thank you so much, John Paul. I wanted to ask what's your takeaway, but we don't even have that time. Thank you. So we'll be speaking with John Paul Iwuoha. Is a business activator and a business coach. So we'll be here again next week, Thursday. God willing. My name is Mary Onaife Edebi. You can find me on Instagram at Mary Media, MERRY. Area Mata. Keep it here. This is the voice of the people, 90.3 FM.